Crack that open. Whatever.
Prepared.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode with your hosts Aaron and Chris. And today I want to talk about a new movie that I've watched literally about half an hour ago. I finished it.
First for everyone.
Yeah, I was just sitting on the couch and I was like, I want to watch something new. I had a bucket of chicken.
Everything's new for you.
To be honest, you're right. But so I like documentaries, right? So I was on the Netflix tab for documentaries and I was looking at all the ones that I've already watched, which is near enough every one of them.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Right?
Near enough every one of them is unwatched.
Right? Nah, some of them are shite looking. So anyway, there was one about, it was called How to Rob Banks or some title like that, along the lines of that.
You sure that's the title?
Pretty sure. Right? So anyways,
Okay.
I'll pull up on the screen what it's called so that you've the definite name. Anyway, it's basically a story of a guy who was dubbed the Hollywood Robber,
Okay.
but it had nothing to do with Hollywood or anything like that. The reason why they called him that, I think, is because he used like prosthetics and shit on his face to like.
Genius.
But I'll get to that, right? So.
It's like Payday 3.
Kinda, yeah. It actually reminded me a lot of that game. So basically, what happened was it was like relatives and people like his accomplices who are talking about him, right? So it starts off him, and he's like in his late teenage, I guess, or his 20s, and he's built like this tree house in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the forest, right? And it's like the 80s, and he's built this. It's an actual house, but like in the trees, like suspended, and it's properly built, like constructed, like in the trees, right? Yeah. And I was like, that's cool as fuck. He is like the definition of free spirit, right? He doesn't want to be tied down to anything, nothing. Just like he just wants to live his life by his own rules and do what the fuck he wants to do.
Feel it.
Bro, amazing, right?
Feel
I was like, excellent, right? So, he does that.
Sorry. Keep going.
You just took me away off track, but let me just remember. So along the way, he comes across a way of making money, right? So this is where I was going. So he is doing really, really well. He's in like university or college or whatever to do a degree in like science.
He's living in a treehouse.
But he lives in a treehouse, right? Okay. Guy's off his rocket. But he's in college doing this degree for and he's like one test away from getting his degree or whatever, right? And he realizes a way to make money throughout his studies, and it is producing crystal meth.
Right. Listen, it is a guaranteed moneymaker.
Right. So
for sure.
This guy was literally living Payday 3 because he was cooking meth and then moved on to...
Remember that mission?
Yeah, mate, cool as fuck, right? So he starts cooking meth, right? So then he ends up like renting a garage or some shit like that, or a storage unit. And before like his friends even come and see him or to help like build anything, he's already got the lab set up and he's cooking, right? and what he was doing was he'd cook up like loads of this shit, like kilos of this shit, right? And then he would take it to like an area called Barstow in California.
I know.
Yeah. I know you know, and I know you know because I know as well, right? So he would take it to Barstow and sell it to bikers, because bikers obviously back in the day, meth was like the golden thing for them.
Big money maker.
Oh mate, so he would go out and he'd sell like fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars of this shit to the bikers, right? He'd come back, make more, and all the rest of it, right? He used to. Oh, this is what it was. He used to sneak into his college to use a lab to produce it at night.
Genius.
And then he got caught doing it. That's why he got kicked out of the college. The one test before he was due to pass his to get his degree.
So
he got caught at night cooking meth in a college lab. Okay. So he got booted out, and that's why he started his own unit.
Genius.
Amazing, right?
I might start doing it.
And then why don't we? Why don't we all do that? So then eventually, right? So he has these two close mates, right? And he's like, I'm looking for a new way of making money, right? He says, and he always goes to cinema to watch these movies, and all the gang movies, all the mafia
gangster
movies,
films,
they were on the rise. They were the best things, and he's watching all these things and all that, and he watched a movie about a bank robber.
Okay.
And he was like, all right, okay, interesting, right? So he's like,
Okay.
these guys were wearing like masks and that, like presidents of the United States mask and all that kind of shit,
Yeah.
like Ronald Reagan mask and all that shit, right? And he's like, nah, I can do this better, right? So he goes, so he starts making prosthetics like a chin, a nose, and all the rest of it. He wears sunglasses and he's got like a mustache and a hat that says something really distinctive and all that. And he's like, I'm going to wear this for every bank I rob, just so they know exactly who the fuck's hit them. And I was like, that's brilliant, right? So he starts off really, really like slow.
Yep.
And he hits like one bank and he only gets like $9,000 or something, right? And he's with his mates and all that. He's doing it, right? So one mate,
Splitting as well.
yeah. So one mate's in the car on the police scanner, like listening to the police chatter to see what's happening. And then there's another one with a getaway or something like that, and he's in there robbing the joint, right? So he comes out. First one was like fuck all money. Then the next one, second one, he goes in and he's again like $10,000 or something, and he's like about to pack it in basically. And then they plan another one, but this time they're like casing it. So they're spinning around for months watching when the trucks come in, with the armored trucks coming with the money. They're watching like the patrol. They're just learning the whole like routine of how the bank operates.
Yep.
And they're listening to the police scanners to see like what the police are doing and where they are and blah blah blah, all this shit, right? For months they've been studying it day and night and all this shit, right? And then one day they're like, right, fucking go time, let's do this, right? So they go in the fucking bank and they come out with like, what was it again? Was it 500 grand or something like that, or just over 500 grand?
Hey.
I was like, he smashed it there, eh? And they keep robbing. Eventually, they've took over like over $2 million or something overall, and I'm like, fucking hell, right? And then this is where it's going to get a bit spoiler alerty. So if you're going to watch this, spoiler
I'm
alert
home
right
to watch
now.
it, but
I'm gonna tell you obviously what happens.
Right, go on then.
So spoiler alert: if you don't want to hear what happens at the end of this documentary, skip along the next 5 minutes or so, right? So they decide to. So the FBI, the police, everyone's been on these guys for a while because it's been going on.
Aye, because it gets big.
So they've built up this whole massive like task force for it, like everything. Everyone's involved, right? And they're in this documentary as well, talking about it. Like how it went down.
Okay.
Right, so everyone that was involved is talking about it on the documentary, like sitting down in that, like what we are right now.
Yep.
So they're like, yeah, so they've started making these like these little trackers that they would put inside money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So basically, what they would do for a while, they were doing okay, and they would like rob because there wasn't as much money normally, like compared to what they were about to do. So they would manage to find these and then just the wads
Whereas
of money.
when the money gets bigger, how do you look through them?
Mate, they're literally siphoning through like so much cash, right? But for like $500,000, they're just like looking through it or whatever, and they find a stack with it and they just throw it out the window, and then the police will just go to that and they'll be like, oh shit, and that's what happened. The guy was like, I'm on this tracker, I found them. And he gets out of the fucking car and he's like, oh shit, it's just a stack of fucking 20s, so it's just lying on the floor on the fucking pavement, and I'm like, clown. Right? But eventually what happens is they hit a big one, right?
Right.
And this is like, everyone's on it, and what happens is there was a more sophisticated system in this bank than they were used to. What happened was the register, the first alarm was raised when the register has like these special like trays inside them, so that if when you reach for money, you can activate the alarm inside the tray.
Genius.
So they press something and you don't even notice it. Silent, right? So he's taking the money out of the register, but he's pressed something inside the register to raise the alarm. So he's handing the money out and whatever, and then he's like, right, take us to the vault. Goes to the vault, and then there's like, he said there's like a faster bypass version of opening the vault, but if you do it that way, it also triggers the alarm. So he's opening the vault that way, but he doesn't know that because he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know, right? He's just opening the vault. Great, perfect, I'm gonna get the money. So he's opening the vault rapid, and he's saying like, the guy that opened the vault, he's in this as well. He's like, I opened it with this combination because this is the combination that raises the alarm. So that's 2 alarms now raised. So this is the middle of the night or whatever for like the other people. And they're like, I'm in my living room and I'm getting called over to fucking go and So we're all racing. We're like, holy shit, it's the Hollywood robber. Like, let's go. Everyone's fucking freaking out, right? This is cool. Getting to the point where I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get caught. And then, so what happens is they load the money up, and he's only got like one bag on him or something, and there's stacks everywhere, right? And he turns to the guy that opened the vault, and he's like, you got a spare bag on you? And I'm like, he's asked the guy for a bag. I'm like, what the fuck?
He
gives him one, right? So he's walking at the bank like that, 2 bags like that, right? He's walking out. He's in the van, but they've got like they've got $1,080,000 altogether from this bank,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
Just over $1 million, right?
That's a bank job.
That's a bank
That's
job,
what
right?
I'm
So
wanting.
all 3 of them are in this van. They've 2 cops speeding. They're in so there's 1 driver and 2 are in the back of the van, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like counting this money and shit. Mm-hmm. Not counting. They're siphoning through it to find the thingies,
marked bills or whatever. Yeah.
The wee trackers.
Tracker.
Aye. They try to find that, but there's so much money. They're struggling. So they found the one. They found the first one. They threw it out, and that's the one that the guy found on the pavement, right?
But there's a second one.
There's a second one, which was still inside, and they couldn't find it.
Because you don't know how many's in there.
So a police car eventually gets near it, and they're like, the guy that was in the police car, he's on this. He's talking away. He's like, so I'm just looking at a scanner, which shows me where the trackers are, and it's pointing to this white Chevy van, this white Chevy box van, and I'm looking in front of me. Did I see it? And he's like, and I'm like, oh my God. Like the guy's like, oh my God, there it is right there. So he's like, so I turn all the lights off, and I've got 3 units behind me as well. So we all turn our lights off, and we're just following this just to make sure that this is the right van. And then we're like, fuck, this is the right van, right? So, and we can see the windows steamed up in the back of the van, and there's lights inside it going frantically as if they're looking through the money or whatever. It's all very obvious what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
And then so the driver of the van realizes, he looks in the rear mirror, he's like, here, we've got police behind us. Like, what's going on here, right? So he's like, this is you're going to hate this, but I was kind of dozing off and on, right?
Fuck's sake.
But hold on, because this is what happened, right? So he jumps out the van with a rifle, right? But the rifle is jammed, it won't shoot. So he clicks like 3 times, nothing's happening, right? So he jumps back in the van and just tries to fucking fly off, right? And the guy who was the lead investigator or whatever, the guy in the first police car behind them, he fires off some rounds into the back doors. So they go straight through, catches one guy in the abdomen somewhere, and catches the driver in his arm. And the guy's like, my arm's literally just dangling. Like, he's just shot my arm off or some shit. I don't know what happened, but it felt like my arm was just dangling. I couldn't use it, couldn't fucking do anything with it, whatever, just fucked, right?
Right.
And so we're driving along some more, and then eventually the van just fucking cuts out on us. And so they all get arrested. There's a shootout actually. He comes out with a shotgun, starts fucking blasting at the cops with a shotgun, right? So starts blasting with the shotgun and that. And is this the part where I fell asleep? Hold on.
Oh fucking hell, man! Hold
on. Wait, what happens after? Right, they capture them.
Right. Didn't I make this up?
I'm not. They actually do capture them, right? But Mr. Hollywood is nowhere to be seen. He's gone. Fucking David Copperfield, gone. Right?
Genius,
right? Trail goes a wee bit cold. They look for him everywhere. Can't find him. Nowhere, right? And then they 2 suspects, they 2 other ones, they get taken into like a hospital to get treated. One thinks he died, and he was like, I felt like relief that it's all over and I don't have to fucking stress about this shit anymore, and I can just go, and I'm happy with that. I was happy to go, but they managed to save him, and the 2 accomplices, they went to jail for 21 years and 3 months each.
Did they grass him?
No. So
like they grass Hollywood, not?
No.
Well done.
No, they did not. So Hollywood ran away, right? And they were looking for him everywhere. And eventually...
But I take it they didn't ken what he looks like.
They don't know who it is. Even the family didn't know it was him.
Aye, because he's fucking got all the stacks and all that one.
He never told...
So it'd only be the 2 guys.
The 2 knew.
They only know.
Yeah, no one else knew, right? No one else even knew his true identity. They just called him Mr. Hollywood or Hollywood Robber, right?
Genius.
Amazing, right? Because he's always wore the prosthetic exactly the same everywhere.
So
This is
never
why-
ever gets caught.
Absolutely,
Nah,
that's it,
genius.
right? So then what happened was there's a woman in a house and she's got like a wee trailer behind in her back garden.
Yeah.
She's phoned the police. She's like, yo, there's someone broken into my fucking trailer in my back garden. Like there's someone moving about in there. It's always locked. Like it's someone's in there. I need the police here right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and it's a guy's got like dark brown hair and that and blah blah, and he's wearing a cap and all this shit. And I don't know what, I can't remember what it was that led them to assume it was him, but somehow they assumed it was him. I cannot remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So they get there and they're like, the whole SWAT team, fucking everyone's there. Like the whole fucking, everybody's there. And they're all like, kind of screaming, shouting, come out, like whatever, right, blah, blah. And if you've got into this part, if you skip to this part, when I told you, it's spoiler alert, the spoiler's about to come right now. So skip ahead again. They're all shouting at him, whatever, to come out. And you just hear one gunshot,
Kill himself? No way.
shoots us in the fucking head.
No way.
Yeah. So they sprayed the fucking whole trailer.
Do you know what I would, bro? Do you know what I would have done?
Hold on. Right, what?
I would have took the prosthetics off
Right?
and just went on my daily way.
Don't know if you could get away with that, like, but this is so.
Those motherfuckers didn't ken who I
I
am.
know. So they've sprayed the shit out of this trailer, right? With guns. Like they say that the guy was like, they've sprayed 76 rounds of bullets into this trailer, and then they spent 2 hours trying to communicate to get for him to come out.
Aye.
But there was no. They like after 2 hours of no response.
Because he must be dead.
They don't know that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so he could blast anyone going in,
Absolutely.
and you obviously
Because
can't.
he
do
could
it.
be on the floor, they might have no hit him or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? They don't know if he's killed himself or what. So after 2 hours, we decided to intercept the trailer and go inside. So the guy's like, I was the leading guy.
That's
I
a
went
tear
in.
gas or something.
Aye, they threw in all that shit in there, yeah. So he's like, I went inside and I look at the wee like table for like where the sitting area inside it, and he's just lying on a table. That his body was just discovered on a table right there. It became apparent that he's shot himself in the head.
Sad finish,
Right. So, and then the guys that went to jail, they were saying like his accomplices. They're like, I used to always ask him like, what are we gonna do one day when we get caught? And he's like, well, I'm not going to jail, brother. I'm gonna follow the white light.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, this guy is just getting more gangster by the minute.
He doesn't
Like,
give a fuck.
He doesn't give a
He's
fuck.
just fucking boom.
Absolutely no give a fuck.
Done.
And he says that he used to always wear this T-shirt that used to say that said, "Live free or die." And I was like,
Fair.
cool as fuck, right? So yeah, literally,
Live free.
yeah. So that's the story of Mr. Hollywood,
I'll tell you something. I've got 2 films for you to watch, right?
right?
Just because I'm starting to gauge what you like to watch. You'll like them. Mm-hmm. So the first one's called The Highwayman. Okay.
Right.
There is a couple of films called The Highwayman. Mm-hmm. So just make sure it's the right one. Mm-hmm. It's about Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The way this film is done is fucking so smart, right?
Right.
Because I assume you've heard about Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah.
So this film is based on back then. There was now I can't remember how truth it is. I think it is actually like a true story. There was basically 2 like sheriffs, like they were high level cops, like they were older, and they were basically told, "We need you to, we need you to go after Bonnie and Clyde, because like no one can catch these cunts,
Yeah.
right? Like no one." So they go, okay. Travelled over fucking so many places, over America and all that. And then you follow the policeman. So you don't see Bonnie and Clyde. You follow the policeman who are trying to catch them. But like, that's the film, right? It's 2 really good actors. You see, as soon as you see who plays them, you'll be like, oh, class. Mm-hmm. So the cool thing is that obviously Bonnie and Clyde were gangsters, right?
Yeah.
And robbed fucking banks and everything, right? And gave the money to fucking people in the street. So the people are no help. The people
right,
like
okay.
Bonnie and Clyde,
Because they're helping them.
They're like
They're
Robin
getting money.
Hoods.
Yeah.
right?
Literally,
So they're coming after folk. They're like these policemen are going to the next town and they're like, we know Bonnie and Clyde's been here. Has anyone seen them? No.
Who's that?
Who's Bonnie and Clyde? Like, that's what's like,
What are we
right?
talking about?
And they're like everyone. Like, there's a fucking mass shootout in one of the towns or something. And they go down, they're like, right, who did this?
Not a clue.
Like, that's what it's like, right?
Who did what?
And they're like, right, raging, right? And like the trail goes cold a couple of times. Honestly, I remember it never got the best review, the film, when it was in the cinema. I thought it was fucking brilliant. Like, just because I like that whole, like, that kind of old style gangsters.
Yeah.
It was when cars were like, they were like the old cars and all that sort of stuff. I just thought it was fucking brilliant.
Like the 30s or something, 19.
It would be like, it'd be like that
30s.
sort of, like, it's sort of like early 1900s.
Yeah.
But, honestly,
when it was,
mate,
yeah.
it was fucking brilliant. Like, one of the best films I've ever watched. And it was cool because it, like, took you all the way till Bonnie and Clyde's death. And it followed, like, the actual real story. And these sheriffs were chasing them.
Right, okay.
And every time they got a hit, they were like, we fucking got them. Like, and they're trying to travel there, like, quick
get
enough.
them.
Time you're there, gone. Like, you're like, you motherfucker. Like, can't catch. Like, honestly, like, it's fucking brilliant, mate. I didn't sell it there that well, but I didn't want to ruin
it sounds good.
But it's honestly so good. And the second one, because you like this sort of stuff, have you ever seen Lawless?
No.
It's got Tom Hardy in it,
Well, I like Tom Hardy as well.
Shia LaBeouf, that in Transformers. Remember the guy from the first one, the young guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the third brother was, mate. You would, as soon as you seen the third brother, you would know exactly who it is. He's a really famous actor.
Right.
They're moonshiners,
Okay.
right? Same sort of time frame, like that sort of like late 1800s, early 1900s. That's where you're at, right? He's got a ranch and he's a moonshiner,
Right.
right? But like, it's got all the proper gangsters in it. Like, it's not like Al Capone's, but like, I can't remember what one of the gangsters in it's called, but you would know his name. Like, when you heard them talking about it, like, he's like really famous.
Right.
And it's like when Tommy guns first came out.
Oh, that's cool.
So like, he gets a Tommy gun in it. You see the guy, like, Shia LaBeouf's the youngest brother, and he's not really involved much because he's a wee bit younger and smaller. And he's in the town one day and he's just trying to impress this girl. And then the gangster cunt comes through the town and he like, there's some other guys that are like, he's chasing or something, and he's chasing their car and their car crashes, and they're obviously like trying to get out of the car. And he just gets off the back of this car with this Tommy gun that obviously, like, people haven't seen a Tommy gun before. And he's just like this. Just like mashes in the middle of the town, mate. And people are like, whoa, like, fucking hell. He's like, cuts this car to bits, right? Kills everyone in the car. All the bullets, kind of shells are falling on the ground and all that. And he's like, just grabs on the side of the car, and his other gangster guy drives him away, and he's just pure like, he like winks at Shia LaBeouf. He's like, away, right? And he's like, so obviously he's like ran in and tried to get a couple of the shells because he's like, oh my God, like, like, so he's like going back. But his brother, like Tom Hardy's the oldest brother, mate, he is the hardest guy I've ever seen in this film, right? Like, the sheriff comes up and there's a new sheriff that's came from a bigger town like New York. And it would be the equivalent of like the FBI, but back then. So it's like a higher level sheriff.
Yeah.
So he's came to town, he's going, listen, who are these guys? Because I'm sure they're called Bondurant or something. That's their last names, right? The Bondurant boys. That's what they're called, right? So obviously, like, he goes to Tom Hardy's shack with the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, look, the moonshiner's going to have to stop, like, because we've got the big guns and now came in the feds. So this fed comes up and he's like, right. He's like, so you're whatever, I can't remember what, it's like Tommy Bondurant or something like that. And he's like this, he's like, right. And he's like, well, things are going to start running a wee bit differently right now. And he's like, I don't think things are going to run differently at all, right? It's like, again, like, it's brilliant, right? It's just like the flatest face. I don't think anything's going to change whatsoever, right?
Let me just ask you, is it the Tom Hardy accent? Aye.
Mate, the coolest accent, like the hardest guy accent I've ever heard, right? And you're obviously like that. You're just like, right? Get like, oh my God, what is going to happen here? And they're like pure square going, and the sheriff's like, right, come on, like, we've had enough of this and that, right? But there's a couple of bits in it, mate. He's honestly solid, mate. He gets like blasted and everything because they're basically, there's like a kind of like how back then, like, people told stories and it nearly becomes, it's like a myth, but it becomes real, right?
Yeah.
So the legend is that he's unkillable.
All right,
Like his oldest brother, like
Aye,
he's
people believe it.
he's unkillable. Like so, he's like being shot. So like at one point, not to ruin the film too much, but he gets his throat slit
Right.
by two guys that are in his bar because he has a bar up there as well. Two guys sneak past and slit his throat, and they basically say like the story is on the town is that he held his throat shut himself and walked like 8 miles
To the hospital.
and then got them to restitch it back shut.
Right.
And like obviously everyone's like, oh, how has this guy survived? Like how is he that tough? Like can he get shot and everything? And he never dies, right?
Right.
And obviously then the youngest brother wants in on the moonshining, but he's like, nah, you're not getting involved. He's like, you're fucking wee pussy in that, right? So that's what he basically is like. He's like, no. He's like, you're a fucking pussy. He's like, you just deal with the fucking dealing with the farm and that. He's like, you're not getting
We'll
involved.
feed the chickens.
But the wee laddie's quite smart because what he does is eventually he goes, okay, and his wee mates like Jiminy Cricket, that's what they call him, and he like designs this moonshine that's even more potent, kind of like how they're trying to get the most alcohol in the moonshine. That was all it was about back then, and he designs it because like to create moonshine you have to have like it's like a chimney and you use like a furnace and it's like that's how you make it, like you boil it and then you do all this stuff, right? So they figure out how to make this really nice moonshine and they're like, we've done it, like genius, right? So then he's like, oh, let's sell it to the biggest gangster, the boy with the Tommy gun. They go to his club and they go, we've got moonshine here, like we'll sell you it. The guy's like, who the fuck are you? Like, and he basically makes them start digging their own graves, right? And
God.
they're like, fuck, we're gonna die, right? Literally to the point where the grave's dug and they're about to get blasted, and he's like, tell my brothers, like I love them, and he's like, who's your brothers? And they went, it's like Tommy Bondurant or something, and he goes like this, he goes, motherfucker, he's like, stop right now. He's like, are you fucking mental? And he's like, so like, all his men are like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're about to go in the grave and that, right? So he pulls him back out. He's like, tell your brother there's been a misunderstanding, right? There's no problems in that.
Right.
And you're obviously then you're like, that just like at the time of the film, you're like, fucking hell, like how hard is his brother? Like pure top mafia's like, nah, didn't even fuck with him like at all. So he's like, I'll give you the money right now for all that moonshine. Stay it all now. So he goes back to his brother. He's like, I've done it. I've sold it all. His brother's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, didn't get? I've told you not to get involved, right? So he lets him taste it. It's really nice. He goes, okay, you can be involved. So then they create this big moonshine factory up in the hills. And that's what the moonshiners, because moonshiners used to make it up in the hill with a chimney and all that because you couldn't see it. Kind of like you couldn't see, like, because obviously it's like smoking, like cooking meth. Like you have to have the chimney and all that. Like folk are going to be like, what the fuck is happening out there? So they're like in the mountains, like miles away from people.
Right.
Aye, and then they drive it down in the trucks, all the moonshine in the back. So like the wee laddie gets involved and he gets quite into it, right? So obviously he starts getting a bit of money. So he buys a car, he's got the fancy suit and all that, he's kicking through the town, like, and his brother's like, look at you now, eh? Like, thinking you're the big man and all that, because you've got a fancy suit and all that. But obviously, like, I think he gets grabbed, I can't remember, he gets grabbed off someone at one point, and he just gets the shit kicked out of him. Like, honestly, he gets the shit kicked out of him. And, like, his fancy suit means nothing at this point. Shit kicked out of him, he's no gangster, right? So his brother's like, fucking idiot, right? Clown.
I told you to stay away.
Aye, but then like his brother's rage, like his brother goes out and he's like I'm talking like cuts the guys, like he actually tortures them, he cuts them to bits, like into little bits, and then posts them back to the fucking sheriff and all that. He's a fucking maniac. And then obviously the film goes on, but honestly,
I'm gonna have to watch.
What a film, mate! Lawless, it is fucking brilliant, mate. It's one of the best films I've watched.
Lawless, right? Okay.
So Lawless and The Highwayman, they're both the films I would recommend.
Do you know what? One thing, just going back onto the bank robber one, right? They said all these things at the end. That's when I found out like how long they went to prison for, because it's like a title saying
21 years, a long time.
I know, 21 years and 3 months they went for, right?
What did they actually get done for? Armed robbery.
I think so. It didn't say specifically what it was. But
did they ever kill anyone? No.
No. That's what the thing.
I guess they would have fought. They had a gunfight at the end.
Well, they walked in with a gun. Like, the guy walked in with a gun every time, like a pistol. But he never used it. He just pointed it at people. Did
he kill anyone on the Ken at the end when they were trying to defend a van? I guess if he'd blasted someone, he would technically get done for murder, eh?
I can't remember. Sorry. I don't think so, though. But...
I watched it half an hour ago, and
I was shattered, to be honest. But so the one thing I couldn't figure out after, so they stole $2.3 million altogether, but
in cash. Where are they doing all that?
No, so they used to go to Las Vegas.
Using the casinos and then try to bring it back.
Yeah.
Genius.
What they would do is they would put money. They would go on the horses or whatever,
Right, genius.
or do or a football game or whatever, and they would just put money on both sides because one's going to have to win.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy was like, "So if we do that every time and one has to win, we still get our money back,
get
and the
paid
casino just keeps whatever we put at the stake. So that's basically a 5% loss, which is fine." And I was
But it wouldn't even be a loss because see if you put
That's
on,
what he said though. He was
if
like,
you put on like black or red, 10 grand each. Just say,
yeah.
no, say it's,
No, so that's what he's saying. We would win money back anyway.
you're going to have the same amount of money
But
either way.
that 5% goes to whatever. That's what he said. But
It'll get paid into your account and all that. Ah,
it's
genius.
clever, right? So, but at the end, it didn't actually say what happened with the money, like in the end, because I don't know if they would have to like, surrender
they'll
it,
try and find it.
or whatever. Like I don't know if they'd have to like confiscate the money off them or what the fuck. But it didn't say where the money went after.
Sometimes you look at crime and you think,
Quite
like,
worth it.
see, like, no, like normal crime where folk are just getting killed in the street and that.
Yeah.
I mean, crime like that, where it's like, it's smart. Mm-hmm. Like, it's no dumbass doing it. It's fucking, these guys are clever as fuck. Like, because, like, it's like American Gangster. Remember him when he started pulling the drugs over directly for, like, fucking Korea? No, where was it? Vietnam. When he's pulling them directly over on the, like, see, when you actually looked at his whole plan, I was like, he's a fucking genius. I was like, how has he thought of all that? Like, because he was making fucking bazillions of pounds.
Look
like,
at Pablo Escobar.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
I mean, to be honest, bro, Pablo Escobar was a different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
because he was just like, if you have a problem, you're going to die. So, like, shut it. Like,
but what I was meaning by him was the level
very,
at which,
very clever guy.
How high because he was like a multi-billionaire.
I remember seeing something once that said if Pablo Escobar was on the Forbes list or something, he would actually be like, it wasn't I think at the time, it wasn't the richest man. No, it might have been the richest man in the world.
He was at the time, yeah.
So, like, if you put, obviously, you can't put his wealth into the list of top people, right?
Yeah.
But if you did, I'm sure at the time he would come in first. He was actually richer than anyone else on the planet.
Because that was like, was it not like in the 50s or some shit, 60s?
Yeah.
Aye.
But even if you took his money to nowadays money, he was still high.
Yeah.
Like, he's still
because,
like
well,
right
back
up.
then, so I don't even know who was the richest person back then. I mean, probably him. But
him.
like, otherwise, because like now you've got these Elon Musks and you've got Bill Gates and all the rest of these clowns, right?
Do you know?
But like
Elon Musk. What did I see the other day?
He lost a power of money recently.
What was it I seen the other day?
So much money because he's been doing clown shit.
So it was something like Elon Musk has enough money to give everyone in the world 20 million and still be the richest man in the world.
Well, Musk, if you ever want to
all nearly 8 billion people on the planet, he could give everyone $20 million into their bank account and still be the richest man.
It's actually 80.125 billion.
So I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure that's what it is. Wait a minute.
Slightly over 8 billion.
Let's just quickly look at what his wealth is sitting at right in a second.
400 and something billion.
Is that what it is? So he could give everyone $1 billion. No, could he?
420 something billion. He has.
And how many people are in the world?
8.125 billion.
So he could give every single person $1 billion and still be considered an absolute, well over the top billionaire.
No, he couldn't.
Aye, good. There's 7 billion people.
Oh, right, you're right, sorry, yeah. So 1 billion per person, yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, no.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Wait a minute. I'll tell you what it is in a minute.
That's just fucked with me.
So the same, bro.
No, wait, what?
No, wait, I'll tell you
Hold
right
on.
now. 2025, $356.7 billion US dollars.
Was that his net worth?
That is his net worth
dropped
currently.
Fucker, because he was close to $500 billion.
So, what did I say there? 357 billion, right?
Right.
Let's just do a quick calculation on the podcast, right? 357
Just go 8 billion for the simplicity.
billion.
8 billion people.
Yeah.
Simplicity.
Wait a minute. 8 million.
8 billion.
Billion. Jesus fuck.
So
No, wait, is that 300? That's 350
No,
million.
if you gave one person $1 billion, and there's 8 billion people, that's like
Yeah, wait,
yeah, no,
wait,
that's
wait,
fucked
wait.
up. You can't. There's not enough money.
Yeah,
in
but
the
I'm going to
bank
tell you how much you can give everyone.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'll take my 20 million like any day,
Mate, you could do 20 million easy.
bro. Even if I got 1 million, like that's fine.
He can give everyone 44 million
Right.
comfortably.
Well, Musk, if you're watching, I'm waiting for my money.
So he could get so the 20 that would make sense because in the 20 million thing, he would still be the richest man,
yeah.
like basically, because he would still have enough money and he'd still generate
But then
enough
how
wealth.
would you even like orchestrate that? Like that would
Well, he can orchestrate whatever he wants.
true, but like
You ever read his book?
no.
I've got his book at home.
Right.
What a guy!
Right.
So clever, man. Like to the level where like
I mean, look, the thing
I actually had to reread things that he's saying because it quotes things in the book
to understand
to get my head around what
what he means.
his mental what was he thinking here,
Right.
because he's like came from nothing.
Yeah.
Like when I say nothing, I mean like didn't have a bed. Like it, like literally like a bit of tar on a bit of hang on the floor because he came from South Africa or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I'm talking, it was like a wee blanket on the floor, and he was like the only white guy where he grew up.
Yeah.
But he's so ambitious and clever. It just
Do you know what? As much clown shit as he does these days, you
I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
You can't say the guy's an idiot or a clown when
The
he's
richest man in the world.
when he's done so many things, like so
Richest
many
man.
cool things like that. Do you
He'd
know what I
actually technically like he'll be richer than countries,
mean? Yeah. Oh yeah.
like full countries. Like he'll
He
have
could.
more
He
wealth.
could buy a country.
Yeah. Well, remember Twitter?
Well, he bought Twitter. Yeah.
He just bought it because he was like, "Nah, do my head in," and just bought it. Like, you're doing my head in. Fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? He's like Ken. Like
he could buy TikTok as well.
he's like Tony Stark in Avengers. At one point, he's fighting the Hulk, right? Massive skyscraper, and he's talking to like his assistant. He's like, "How much?" He's like, "How quickly can we buy this building?" As he's about to throw the Hulk through the building, right? And they're like, "The building's up for like 275 million, right?" And he's like this. He's like, "Purchase it now, purchase it now." Right? And then he's like buying it as he's throwing the Hulk right through the whole building. Now I'm like this, motherfucker. The guy just spent 300 million
just to throw someone
just
over
to
it.
throw someone through it. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Have you ever read about Trump's like background?
I've actually got his autobiography, but I've not read it yet.
So I've read about his background, right?
He's a clever guy.
And I've looked at his.
He got left a lot of money, I think.
He did, yeah. His father, because his father was a very successful like real estater and stuff like that. But they had back in his dad's time, there was a scheme they were running on the houses for profiting off them like heavily and stuff like that. But they done it very clever when legislation came into play about it later on in the time. They actually never got done for it because we've prepared for that. They actually predicted that this would happen in the future. So they were like, "Oh, we know this legislation is coming, and we're ready for it." But in the meantime, we're just going to make these millions right now. And then when Donald Trump was about, obviously, his dad had shit tons of properties already, and then he just gave him all that, and then gave him money and all that shit to start his own thing, and that's where his wealth come from. But like I've went back so far into his family tree. Like I'm talking like 1700. Like I was looking into his great grandfather and all that, like to see who this guy was, and I was like,
generational wealth is a real thing.
yeah, that's me. Because
If you can leave money to like your like kids or kid, then I know it wouldn't be you're not going to benefit from the generational wealth, but 2 or 3 generations down, like so if I left money to my daughter, but in the right way, like left or right, like say over everything I can do, I left £1 million. If she invests it correctly and is navigated the right way, like as in like directed the right way, to then leave generational wealth and invest the correct way to then leave generational wealth for her kid, then they might be sitting with like 5 or 10 million, and then again the next way down.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Like that is how that whole thing works. Like if
Yeah.
you can do that, so like obviously we know people that have got good money like lying around like now that's maybe came through family. That's because 3 generations ago their family were like, we're going to do some generational wealth shit. So we are now seeing the people benefit for that, like because they can actually just go out and be like, well, I'll just get a Lamborghini or whatever, or I can do whatever I want.
we also know people who have started from the dirt that
that have done very well as well. Yeah, absolutely.
well, which is like it's like they're
the ones that are starting it.
shit.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, well done, like
well,
fucking
absolutely.
well done. But it's cool as fuck. I like reading about like successful people's backgrounds and where they've came, and their parents, where their parents came from, because I just find all that shit so fascinating when I'm reading about it.
I heard a thing off a billionaire guy.
Right.
Did you ever see the thing where someone goes, "Sell me this pen" thing, like the Wolf of Wall Street crap, right?
So many videos on that shit.
So the billionaire guy goes, if you want to just be like a millionaire, like, or very wealthy, he's like, that's fine. He's like, sell shite that no one needs.
Yeah.
He's like, you will make you will make wealth. He's like, see if you want to be a level above that and you want to be like billionaires.
Yeah.
Find a problem, solve it, sell people the thing they do fucking need. He's like,
sell the solution.
sell the solution that they need to something that is genuinely a worldwide issue.
Okay.
Find an issue and go, I can fix that with this, whatever it is, right? Don't sell them shite. Sell them things that they need.
Yeah.
Because you can sell shite, but only to so many people. He's like, because some people are like, nah, pish.
One day I asked my dad, this was like when I was younger, I said to him, I was like, what would be like the best way to like what would, because I used to be like always fascinated by like inventing a product or inventing something to like,
I've thought about it as well.
to make shit tons of money, right? I think I was like 15 and I asked him, I was like, what the fuck do these people do that like they invent something? Like where does this come from?
Find a problem.
And he says to me, he goes, find a way to make people's lives more convenient for them.
Yeah.
He says people love convenience. He says
Absolutely.
people will buy convenience because it saves them time or saves them effort or any of that shit.
Absolutely.
He says if you can find a way to make someone's life easier with the most simplest thing ever, the most convenient way of doing something, whatever it may be, he says that's how you fucking do it.
Because
But it's finding what the fuck that is.
exactly, and there's a lot of problems now that, to be honest, there isn't a lot that haven't been answered that we're going to have the technology to be able to figure out.
Yeah, but the other thing is as well, the advancement in technology and advancement in just in general that we as people
It becomes
have made,
hard now, really.
It becomes rapidly hard because it's like everyone's doing so much these days that it's like, how are you going to figure out
it's like phones.
if someone's not done something that you're about to do?
It's like the mobile phone.
Right.
Like everyone had a phone. Well, not everyone, but people had phones that were landlines to the way that were like on the wire.
Yeah.
And there was phones in phone boxes. And one day someone has gone, okay,
I'm sick of this shit.
What if someone had a phone that they could just carry in their pocket?
Yeah.
And everyone had one.
Yeah.
And then they went, let's figure it out. They will be billionaires.
Yeah.
Like hands flat out, they will be billionaires.
The thing that gets me the most, right, is like people think about that shit, but it's like, for example,
how do you go about doing it?
Tell me your biggest inconvenience right now.
My biggest inconvenience.
What would you love to fix right now?
Travel.
Right, so teleportation. We can't really figure that out.
Well, we can. Do you know, I watched a thing on Elon Musk and he said that he figured it out.
What, teleportation? How are you meant to travel? Yeah, how, though? Like,
well, it's just particle travel. So, like, I'm sure the science behind it, someone like, you need to invent something that is able to departicleize, so like make you a particle, so make you multiple particles. So say like you're made up of like millions of particles.
Well, we are particles, effectively.
So turn yourself in, separate all the particles into minuscule amounts and be able to shoot them to another location and re-put them together so that you come out like that.
We're actually molecules is what we are.
Yeah, but you need to be particleized. It's the same way that like a mobile phone works.
Right.
How does my voice hit your voice?
Yeah.
How does my voice hit you when you're listening?
I've always wondered that too.
Same thing, but with a person.
Okay. Give me a more simpler inconvenience.
There isn't one.
Well, that's your only inconvenience?
Yeah.
Travel?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't have another.
Fair.
I genuinely don't. That's the one thing that I don't like doing is traveling.
Right, okay.
I fucking can't stand it. I hate it. I don't like driving. I don't want to drive. I just want to fucking walk in a wee machine hang that just goes bang. He's there.
Right, okay.
And then I've got a wee return button.
Right, okay.
That's all I need.
So is there nothing like a little gadget that you wish you'd had in the house or whatever that would simplify?
Everyone's invented. You tell me what yours is. Not so easy, is it?
I wish my phone wouldn't cut out when I'm talking to someone.
Ah, but that's just because you're a cheap bastard with Tesco Mobile or whatever. Get on EE. Get on EE.
But even your phone does that.
Aye, but it's because I'm trying to connect to your fucking pants
because
network.
you were saying earlier, you were like in traffic, you're like, oh, it's because where I am.
Aye, to be fair, I was like in the forest.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is if we were EE to EE, it would be better.
Probably.
you're
What's
too
my biggest
cheap.
inconvenience? Shut it. I don't know.
Making food.
What?
Making food.
Yes, actually, do you know what I would love?
You ever watched Back to the Future film?
Hold on. No, but hold on. I would love it if I could have something that would, because I know you can buy diced chicken in the shop, but I don't trust it. I like buying.
What?
I'm not getting into it. I don't know who's cut it. I don't know what the fuck. Just know. I like to buy my chicken's breasts full. I like to cut at home,
I hate
but
that.
I fucking hate cutting.
Yeah, so do I.
Right. So I'm like, I would love to have a machine that would just cut into dice
There is
for
one.
me.
There's a dicing machine.
Great. So someone's figured. That's what I'm saying. You're like, oh, I've got an idea, and then you look up, you're like, bastard, someone's figured it out.
Aye, obviously, because that was an easy one. Making food, that's the best one.
Right.
Because in Back to the Future, in the second one, when it goes to the future, I'm sure they've just got a machine that they'll literally just push a button and it just goes, bang, burger. Like, done.
I mean, cool, but that's impossible, probably.
Again, it's just particles.
Yeah.
So they just have to create the particles of a burger.
It's like 3D printing a burger.
Literally, bro. But we can 3D print a
3D
lot.
printer, by the way.
Listen.
3D printer, that is an invention and a half.
Genius.
This rain is serious.
I know, we're sunny last
Yeah,
podcast
I know.
now. It's true.
Aye, 3D printer,
We got one in the
mind
work.
blowing. Do you know what is cool, right? So
We've got CAD and all that. You can,
yeah,
you
I
can
know
make
what it
your
is.
own
Yeah.
whatever,
Shit,
you
whatever
want,
you want,
and
yeah.
just print it.
Just make a Lambo.
It's not quite big enough for
I
it.
know. There's one time when I used to download stuff from the internet, right? Like software or games or whatever.
Used to, okay.
Um,
Right, line Keep going. Keep going, mate.
yeah, so I used to always think like, oh, it'd be cool if I could just download a car,
That would be awesome.
right? So imagine you're just like pirating a car from like this dealership.
What
But
about,
that's basically
what about immortality?
immortality?
living life?
Would you like to be immortal?
Yeah, we've
I
had
would
this
like to be
conversation
immortal as well. We did have it. I'd like to be like Vampire Diaries.
And-
I
and
just-
the
I'm
mental thing
same
is-
age the whole time.
And the mental thing is, I think we discussed this on the podcast last time. I've actually done a considerably large amount of reading and understanding how this would work.
Right.
Unbelievably a large amount. Like I'm talking like,
Did you not say about there's a way of reversing your cells or something? Or
aye, well,
keeping them multiplying?
it's called telomerase or whatever they're called, and it's basically a protein within cells. And if you could figure out how to have enough of that in your body, so like you would have to keep feeding it through your body. If you could do that, you could technically, it would regenerate cells, and you would technically live considerably longer. Not forever yet, but
A lot longer.
considerably longer.
Do you know
But the
what?
problem is they don't want things like that.
Yeah, I know, because they always.
Your NHS is going to crumble because you've got
mate,
now
absolutely.
considerably
Mate, the whole
larger
planet would-
people.
I mean, look
everyone
how
would fuck.
I looked at statistics, right? At how what the population was like in like the 1950s compared to now, and mate, it is scarily.
You know how you do
growing.
it? This is going to sound terrible because everyone's going to banish me after this. They put it out. They obviously get the inventions there, right? Say it's all done. It's an injection or something, right? And it could maybe be some sort of nanite form that injects the telomere or keeps them running so you can live forever, right? Or live for a considerably large period of time. On the flip side, to keep, and I know everyone will hate this, but on the flip side, to keep the world alive, if you take it, you can't have kids.
All right, okay.
So it completely annihilates that possibility for you.
Well, so you'd probably have kids before that then if you wanted to have kids, no?
You would need to do it because to be honest with you, if you were having an invention like this, the likelihood is you would need to probably start feeding it in when they were like a baby.
Oh, right, I see.
Do you know, or very young, because you would need to start it so that your cells wouldn't
can
start to
already see-
because your cells are degenerating now.
Yeah.
So are mine. So like we actually want to have fed it in like 10, 15 years ago.
All right, okay, because the sooner you start it, the
Then
slow
the
process.
cells aren't depreciating.
Yeah, yeah,
They're just consistent. So
Yeah.
you would need to do that, but it would need to cut kids. Like listen, if you don't want to take it, don't take it, and you can have kids all you want. But like if you were to make that choice, you're
Yeah, yeah,
sacrificing something to get that, because then the population wouldn't grow as large, but people would live a lot longer. So there
Yeah.
would be people walking about that are 1,000-year-olds.
So imagine eventually everyone takes it. Sooner or later, the population is just going to stop growing, because
Just stay the same.
it's going to stay the same. Because
No one can get ill
hardly
and no one
anyone's
can die.
dying, and there's
Well, no one
births.
would die, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. That would be scary, I think. That would be a bit much.
You would have to put that in place. If you didn't, you've got people that are like 500 years old and they might have like 19 kids who are also now all 500 years old. The population would implode. It would be fucked.
I seen something on Instagram, I think it was like an educational video, and it was basically saying about how, like, I don't know how true this is or if it is true. I've not looked it up properly, like scientifically yet, but apparently you can you can bring your body to a stage in which it repairs itself and kills off any like virus cells and like cancerous cells and shit like that. And
Yeah,
it's basically
I think I've seen
by starving yourself for, I think it's 72 hours.
That's true.
Because when your body hasn't had any food for that amount of time, it starts doing like a self-cleanse because it's digesting all this shite
So yeah,
that's inside you.
people do that all the time. Some people go longer than 72 hours. Some people go for like a week.
Yeah. And apparently it like
It's a
completely...
detox.
Aye, like a detox from everything though. Like,
So,
it'll kill off like deadly bacteria and shit like that.
It
inside
does.
you, and like viruses.
but it wouldn't get rid of like cancerous cells and things like that. But it would get rid of like...
That's what it said though, but I didn't
It would get rid of like flu-like cells or
It did say
stuff
that.
like
It did say it apparently gets rid of
Problem with cancerous cells
cancerous
is, do you know how they work? So like basically any cell you have now could be non-cancerous and can change to cancerous. That's why cancer is so hard to combat. So like, it's not that you catch it.
No, I know.
It's that you already have it.
Yeah, it just needs to be
It
triggered.
just needs to be turned on. That's how it is.
I wonder how that happens when it like, is it just random?
Well, let me give you a wee bit insight on private life, right? So generationally in my family, there's a thing to do with our bowel that can grow like a little, I think it's on my dad's side, you can grow a little bit of like, it's like my granddad, he died of bowel cancer, right? But it grows like a, what do you call it? Like a, what do you call them? The wee lumps, a tumour. So you grow one that's non-cancerous, but it turns cancerous.
Right.
Like flips. So like they check it, oh, it's fine, Mr. Ellison, all good, and turns cancerous, but you don't know when. And that's how my granddad got caught out, because his was non-cancerous and then became cancerous. So it's unfortunately hereditary.
Right.
So like I can now go in for a scan every, I think it's 5 years currently.
That's long though, eh?
It is, it's based off my age. I can go in every 5 years, but if they start to see that tumour is growing, they would want me in more often. So like, I think my dad goes in every year, for example, or 6 months. And because of his age, it can flip quite quickly. Obviously, if they catch it fast, great. Like if they can catch it and take the tumour out, then brilliant. But it just keeps regrowing.
Aye, because it'll just grow again.
So like
right?
ours just regrows. So sometimes when you take a tumour out, it doesn't grow back.
Yeah.
But not with this. I can't remember what the thing's called, but basically it just keeps growing. So unfortunately, like probably at some point in my life, I will get to the point where I need to get one removed every year.
Okay.
And that might just be the way it is. If I leave it and I don't get it removed, the likelihood is it'll turn cancerous and I'm fucked.
Yeah.
That's just unfortunately the way it is. But it's because it flips. That's the danger, because you don't know when it's going to turn.
Because it can actually happen to people who have literally zero history of cancer in their family, right?
Yeah.
Because like for example,
We didn't. My granddad was the first one.
I have no history of cancer in my family at all.
Well, everyone's going to have no history at some point.
Well, so I feel like I'm gonna go get a full check and shit like that.
I've got Bupa healthcare, so it's like private healthcare.
Right.
So I've decided probably when I turn 30, so like 2 years time, I'm probably going to go in and just get like a yearly annual full health check.
Well, to be honest, right, so I've
through my private healthcare.
I've obviously just turned 30 recently.
Yeah.
And I've actually never been for like a full check, for like a full body check.
They're pricey, like, but my dad always says to me...
But I can get one for a GP anyway.
Well, the private ones will be more in depth.
Well,
The GP will give you a brief, but I'm talking like, these are like hours long, like bloods, cholesterol, everything. They'll do a scan, they'll do everything. Like,
question, so can I see if I don't have a Bupa cover as like...
you could pay to get it done,
Right, okay.
as a single off thing.
All right.
Like I would, I think I pay I would pay a considerably discounted price. Like I
Right.
just have to put like 200
I
quid
might
for
do
it.
that, you know. What is it? Is it just like needles, blood, a wee bit?
Everything.
Whatever, right?
Everything
They
you
put
can
in the
imagine.
scanner
Aye.
today.
My dad got it. Aye.
Aye.
He gets it once a year.
Do you know what? I'd love to go, but I'd be terrified in case something gets.
Well,
I mean, obviously,
obviously
listen,
good,
it's
but,
good.
but bad at the same time.
But it's good, but I'd be like, oh my fucking god, no way. Because a wee bit of my private insight, right? This might be a little bit disturbing for some, but just a quick one, and I'll just make it vague. About 5 years ago, I found a lump in
I remember, yeah.
my ball, right? To put it simply, and yeah, nice. And I went to get it seen, and it turns out to be like something else.
I had one as well, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And turned out it was fine, but
So then I went again, like maybe a few months later, because I thought it was getting bigger, but it hadn't actually gotten bigger. It was just me freaking out.
you do freak out with that.
Yeah, and turns out it's nothing serious. It's just it's like a cyst or some shit like that. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. But it's been like 5 years now or so, 5 or 6 years now since I've like discovered that. I'm like, and I've not had it seen like since that time, like since the second.
But you
visit.
do think about it.
But I do think about it every day, like near enough.
My
But
heart thing, I
it
think
was
about
like it was like 6 years ago. So I'm like, I feel like if it was cancerous, I'd be fucked by now, with not doing anything about it.
Well,
I mean, 6 years of nothing about it. Like,
never know. You should get checked.
I'm gonna go.
I personally, so this is what I say. This is, when I turn 30, I just sort of have it in my head that like 30, I'm not bothered about the cost. I'm just going to go into my private healthcare and get a check
Yeah.
every year.
Listen, you can't skimp out on health.
Because that's what my dad always says.
Me, you
He
can't.
says, listen, it doesn't matter how much money you've got.
Yeah.
Because if you're no fucking healthy,
Do you know
then
what? I
you're
was
fucked
actually
anyway. So,
maybe a month ago or so. I was actually looking at Bupa's private healthcare
I've
because
got
I'm
me
like,
Ryan.
I can't be arsed going to doctors or hospitals and waiting.
Well, the doctors,
for
you
6
wait
hours
forever.
and
Like
shit.
you could be
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to get this checked. Okay, well that's like a year and a half away. Like the private stuff's like a week. Private's like, can you come back on Monday?
Yeah.
And we can get that done for you. And you're like, no bother. Like, do you know what I mean? It's actually next to David Lloyd,
All right.
the hospital, private hospital.
Really?
Bupa hospital, aye.
Fucking up the road.
Literally.
Perfect.
So like everything's fast, like rapid in there. But obviously it is expensive. But again, you can't skimp on health. So
yeah,
like
you can't.
for me, I know that not everyone can afford it, and that's fair. But I'm just looking for in my personal thing. I think just based off my family and stuff like that, I just feel it wouldn't do me any harm if I get 20 checks over the next 20 years and they don't find a thing. I'm not going to kick myself for getting 20 checks. I'm just going to be like,
Oh, I've been healthy the whole time. And
20 checks, I'm
great. I'm
fine. Because I had the heart thing and all that.
Yeah,
So
I remember
sometimes
that.
I'm a wee bit like, I get the check and at least a check.
Yeah.
And I ken that everyone's all right. Like, because I didn't know anything about that until this luck they checked and and found it. Do you know what I mean? So
Do you know what I'm a wee bit nervous about, right? Is when it comes to like later on in life, when it comes to like checking the prostate and that. I mean,
that's now for you, bro.
is it now? Yeah.
30, huh?
Is it 30?
Aye.
Fuck. I mean, I don't. Some people are like,
I'll
I'm
be
not
honest
fucking-
with
you were like, I'm not
I'll
fucking
be
doing
honest
it.
with you. That's the one thing I didn't want. Like, I didn't want them doing that.
Listen, you can't skimp out on health.
I know. That's free. That's free.
Listen, I'll go and get it checked. Do you know what I mean? It's like 1 second of uncomfortable shit.
See, to be honest with you, if they did all my scan and all that and everything in my health check came back clear,
Yeah.
I feel I wouldn't get a check because I'd be comfortable enough to say, I've just had a 5-hour health check and everything's fine.
If there was something there, one of the things that
I
you
feel
checked
something that they would have checked. Whatever scans,
Something
all these
wouldn't
things,
be quite right.
something wouldn't be quite on the dot. And I would go, okay,
Let's
let's
check that
check that now and
Yeah.
then. Like my dad has had the camera down the throat
Oh,
and the other way,
right,
both.
right.
Because you have to get that for like bowels and things like that. That's how they check. Put a camera.
Does that happen?
One of two ways,
Does that
just-
happen for just a basic health check, like what you're talking about? Nah, that's fine.
That's for like they found something.
I don't want.
and you have a
I
look.
don't want any like invasive checks. in
No, the health checks are just the bloods, like
Right.
check your cholesterol. They check everything.
that. Right.
So like they might come back and they go, "Oh, your cholesterol's quite high."
I'd like to go into the CT scanner. You know that they put you in
I think
that
they do
thing
CT scan
because that just checks the whole body for if there's any fucking lumps or any
for
shit.
certain stuff. Obviously,
Mate, I would love that because that's what I was trying to get them to do for like my testicle, because I was like, well,
I don't see the
'cause
black
the thing
faded
is,
area, eh?
they've checked like, and I actually had second and third opinion when I was in there.
yeah, I like that.
Because there was like a doctor checking it, And like, what can I say? They were fucking feeling it and shit like that, right?
I hate when they do that. It's mine.
I hate it as well. And then
There's no you, eh? It feels like.
nah, mate, horrible. And she was like, yeah, so it's on the outside. If it was cancerous, it would have been on the inside and it would have been much harder and all that. This is quite soft. Like this does not show me signs of cancer at all or anything like that. And then I was like, right, cool. Can I get a scan to confirm that? And they were like, not really, because we don't think
you only need a scan if they
think it is that.
So that's the thing. So
but then hold on, so this is when I got other people in. So I was like, right, can I get a second or third opinion? So they got another person in to check it, and yet so I was laying on this bed like that, and about 4 people around my ballsack just looking at it, and I'm like, right, cheers for that, boys.
Ken, the thing is, that's the shite thing about the NHS in that sense, is they will not put you in anything unless they are sure.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, and just again, the benefits of what I've seen for
you just tell them what you want, pay
stuff.
for it, and you're like,
you literally go, I'm not comfortable with that, and I want you to put me in a scan, and they'll go, oh, okay, Aaron, but like, because the private healthcare, how it works is you pay per level, so like you've got like a level of private healthcare, right? But of it'll cover some stuff for nothing, and some stuff will just be discounted and whatever. But it's fast, so like I can go, look, I'm not comfortable here. I know you said everyone's fine, but I want you to do a scan.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, when can you do a scan? Like, when are you available? But I'm available now.
Yeah.
I'm available in 3 days. Okay, no problem.
Because the NHS will just do it if they see,
if they feel the need, because they can't afford to be like to everyone,
yeah.
oh, you want 3 scans? No bother, mate.
Yeah.
Like they can't afford to do that. So that's the one thing. And I never used to think it. I used to get private healthcare with Arnold Clark when I worked there when I was young, and I always used to think, wow, useless thing I'm going to have. I'm fine. No, my friend, that's the best thing to have.
Yeah.
And I've got, like, obviously I'm lucky because I can just put Rari under it. So she's like, it's like an extra like £3 a month to have Rari under because she's so young.
Yeah.
So like the younger you are and you put them under, it's like life insurance and that as well. So if you've got life insurance and all that, the younger you are, the better, like the quicker or the cheaper it is for you.
Yeah.
So like, you ever seen that advert where it's like, take life insurance at 25, it's like £11 a month. Take life insurance at 26, it's £14 a month.
Yeah.
Take life insurance at 27, and it keeps going up. Like, even though you're having it for less years, it's because you're getting closer to being possible. Like,
I mean, if I took one like on my mum, for example, I'd be paying like £1,000 a month probably.
Well, they look at your health, so that's a problem.
Honestly, but I think we've overshot it. I think
we've overshot.
We're heavily.
Sorry, we got into a heavy conversation. We actually had other things to talk about.
I know we did. This is what I predicted would happen. I did say we're going to split.
I had a quite good conversation.
I loved it. I enjoyed that very much, and I also hope that you guys enjoyed it.
I hope everyone's healthy.
Yeah, I hope there's health, because health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Yeah.
The most important thing in the world.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope
Thank you for watching. Yeah, peace out. Thank you very much for watching.
Catch you next time.
Catch you next week. Obviously, like, subscribe, everything like that. If you can share it, that helps us as well.
Absolutely.
Peace out.
Take care. See you later on.